Okay, let's go ahead and talk about diseases that can affect dahlias. This is an example of a really healthy dahlia plant just starting out. Its leaves are nice and green, they're flat, not curled. Different varieties have different shapes of leaves. Some of them are more serrated on the edges, so your dahlias, according to the variety, can look a little bit different, but they should be nice and green. Leaves are nice and flat. What actually causes diseases in dahlias is you have different types of bacteria in your soil. Some bacteria is very good, other bacteria is not so good, and they can affect the dahlia's growth. It's really heartbreaking because I know you're so excited to see this dahlia grow, but if it is infected with any kind of disease, you really do need to dig it up and throw it out. Don't put it in the compost, throw it out completely. And the reason why you don't want to leave it in the garden, especially if you have other dahlias, is because bugs such as thrips can come and take a bite of the dahlia and then go to a different plant, take a bite of that, and that will infect a new plant. So, as heartbreaking as it is, and it usually happens to your favorite variety, you need to dig it up when it has a disease and throw it out. Now, let's go over here and look at some examples of dahlias that have some type of a disease. Okay, here's an example of one that's diseased. As you can see, the leaves are very curled on it. Its growth compared to the exact same variety right next to it, its growth has been stunted where this one's nice and healthy. This growth is not as full and lush. Leaves are wrinkled. They're different colors of green. It's not an even color. So that's a really good example of one that's diseased. The one next to it is also diseased. It's not quite as apparent. The leaves are a little bit wrinkled, but the leaves just don't look healthy. So I will go ahead and dig these two up so that they don't affect this nice healthy one. Leaves are nice and flat, even tones of green throughout the leaves. Okay, so as heartbreaking as it is, these guys have got to go, and I'll just plant something else here in the meantime. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you some different varieties of nice healthy dahlia plants. This is apple blossom, and these are really healthy looking dahlias. This one over here is Castle Drive. So you can see these were planted at the same time. Castle Drive is growing a bit thicker, a bit faster, so that can vary. If one of your dahlias is a little bit slow, it's okay. Again, on diseases, it's not your fault. It's nothing you've done. It's kind of just the luck of the draw. Some bacteria's in your soil that's causing disease, and it's just part of growing dahlias. Most of the time, you'll have nice healthy ones. Every once in a while, you'll have a bit of disease, and you just have to get rid of it. There you go. Now, what do you do if you find that you have a dahlia that's diseased and you need to dig it up? You can go ahead and just leave that space as it is. That'll give your dahlias a little bit more breathing room. Or you can come back with another plant. What I like to do is not plant another dahlia in that space. My soil's telling me that it needs a little bit of biodiversity, and that another dahlia in that place is probably not going to be a good idea. So what I'll come back and do is plant something else. A lot of times I like to plant something that's going to grow tall, um, so that it doesn't get shaded out by the dahlias. Something like cosmos is a great thing to intersperse in my dahlia field, and that way I keep good biodiversity in the soil. And a lot of times, if I'm having troubles, I'll go ahead and plant a section in between each variety um, of like cosmos in between each variety of dahlias, and that helps to keep the biodiversity good in my soil.